Everybody, this is Ray, this is Life and Vibe, and today we are going to be looking at a gentleman by the name of Brendon Burchard. And the reason why I chose this particular individual and this particular topic to go over today is because I think there are some really important reasons that this individual may be somewhat problematic, and also is possibly part of the reason why a lot of individuals are hearing this type of motivational speech. I wanted to use the word rhetoric, but that's a little bit fancy, is so prevalent in multi-level marketing and any of those types of businesses. Anyway, if you like this type of content, please comment down below, subscribe, hit the like, so on and so forth. I'm putting this in the pockets of my time. I am in a training at the moment, so I'm going to be looking at my watch because I need to be back in there in like 15 minutes. So anyway, and the jets are flying terribly. This is going to be 2 parts, and this is part 1. And it's based on his motivation mashup, advanced wellness strategies that are on YouTube. And one of the things that I really like to point out that are significant about his YouTube site is, or his, when you come in to look at one of his videos, is the number of subscribers actually that he has, which is just under 1 million, which I find astounding, to be honest. It's 959,000 subscribers currently. He's been on YouTube for quite some time. The bottom of his YouTube video on the right will display the name of his app that he is promoting at all times. That was also part of a business that Dave Hollis was involved with as far as his coaching aspects of it all. And I actually have a video about that as well. This video was filmed about a month ago, and it aligns, and I know that's one of his favorite words, with the time when Jessie Lee Ward had her conversation with Brendon Burchard, her first conversation, training, coaching session with him, and he gave her information to get away from anybody that was not in alignment with her, which is particularly disturbing. And I'm going to trigger warning this video as always, because we're going to talk about issues around mortality and diseases like cancer and so forth within this whole conversation, as well as drugs and alcohol and other things. Just briefly, he was working with her and then released this video about the same time as she released her video that I had just commented on. Anyway, long story short, he mentions keto in this video, which I find, interesting, because obviously she sells keto products but prove it. So it just shows you how he absorbs information from those around him and then kind of uses it in whatever his spiel is of the day. He is not a licensed individual for any type of therapy, mental wellness, health, anything at all. And if he were, I can promise you, he would have put that designation on his YouTube channel as a verified expert and somebody who had licensure to speak about the topic. And I'm sorry, the jets are terrible, but he doesn't. He doesn't have that here. And I can let you know that in about however many, I think it's 2,000 subscribers I need, so I'm a long way away from that. But if I ever get to that, I will definitely go for my designation to be able to have a expert opinion aligned, I love that word because he loves it, to my channel. Anyway, let's just get started, because I'm very verbose when I start these channels, and I just need to get going here and react. So let's listen to Brendon. He's going to do advanced wellness strategies, but I just always want you guys to look for that stuff. Anyway, stop talking, Ray.
Okay, let's go. Growth day. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Congratulations, you're working on your personal growth and wellness today. I welcome you to today's session on advanced wellness strategies for home and work. What an unbelievable topic, right? The timing is perfect because some of you, like me, you may have spent yourself and your year in a little bit of a quarantine and a new place and try to do your job, manage the stress, the obligations that you have with the.
I just want to point out, he's advertising his app here and he's powered by Zoom. So I don't know if he's sponsored by Zoom. I'm not sure. I mean, this man, as we know, has made $170 million in courses. So there's nothing that you can put past this unlicensed, unregulated individual over here.
The kids or the family or the business, try to find that sense of happiness and joy and creativity in life. But it's also a really difficult time sometimes to do all of that when the world is in total chaos and turmoil, when multi-billion-dollar companies are trying to steal your attention and compare you to other.
Yes, because lo behold, some other corporation tried to steal your attention when Brendon over here is like hardcore trying to steal your attention. So, I mean, how dare somebody else try to get your money? Because Brendon wants your money instead. He's a grifter. I don't care. You're not licensed, mate. You're certainly not licensed to do any type of mental health. And the fact that you had been in such close proximity to Dave Hollis prior to his, mortality, that was probably a terrible shot of me, is really bad. And so I really have a problem with this individual. I think he gives people really bad advice about not getting the correct help. So if Dave Hollis was hanging around this, positivity guru, I can't even describe him. He's terrible. Let's just keep going.
The people. And so today's topic, I think you're going to find not only timely, but something that will help holistically address so many of the challenges we all face in living a vibrant, a connected, and a meaningful life.
Are you using the word holistic, Brendon, in order to try to be unlicensed and unregulated and still give mental health advice where you should not be doing it? I think it's really problematic. I think you gave Jessie Lee Ward some pretty terrible advice recently, asking her to, lose people in her life who aren't aligned with her. Obviously, people who just agree with whatever shenanigans she's doing with her cancer. Okay, I'm going to try to keep looking at the camera and this guy and instead of just staring at this guy, but I'm trying to do both at the same time. I should probably just turn around and put him in front of me. That would be better. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm positioning. I got jets flying. I've got this guy got me heated. I'm probably staring down. I probably have a terrible angle for myself. I'm going to look at this. I'm going to look terrible. Anyway, let's go. I'm trying to soundproof over this corner.
If you're new to Growth Day, you might not know that I always kind of talk about this triangle, and this triangle that what we're all really after, after we have some security.
Is the triangle like an MLM pyramid scheme, or is the triangle he's trying not to get in trouble and be mentioning Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which has also been debunked? I'm just going to say it's been around forever and a day in healthcare, but there is some proof that a lot of that, self-actualization that Maslow talked about and having to have all these levels of needs, it's not a lot of scientific evidence behind that. So I should probably deep dive, as they like to say, into that topic, but I have to be back in 5 minutes to deep dive into how to manage and correctly deliver my cardiac rehab program. It's actually quite fascinating. Anyway, back to Brendon.
Security or a roof over our head or some food in the pantry is, we all want a sense of aliveness.
Say he's using the levels.
We want that joy, that enthusiasm, that sense, that joie de vivre. We all want connection, and that connection is your relationships and how you feel connected to other people, connected to your family, connected to even yourself. We want meaningful pursuits, the ability to do things that matter to us, that draw our interest or our passion or our obsession or enthusiasm. And right in the middle of that whole triangle, growth, which is what we are here to do today. This topic.
I thought he was talking about wellness strategies. It's advanced wellness. It's supposedly advanced wellness strategies. I guess he's going to have to use the word growth 1,000 times because, once you get that word, this is a marketing tool, hooked into your brain, then obviously you're going to keep thinking growth, and then you'll see the Growth Day app, and then hopefully he'll have you pay money towards that, then looking to see if your insurance covers your, talk therapy with an actual licensed therapist. Not this dude. He's terrible. He's just terrible. And the fact that he was hanging out with Dave Hollis just before Dave Hollis was found, in his situation, and that obviously the addiction that Dave had was not something that just suddenly came on. It was ongoing, and that nobody was steering Dave, or that Dave could even feel comfortable and telling these people that. These people are toxic, absolutely toxic. Okay, let's keep going. But that's why I just really don't like this guy. I just don't, because now he's giving really terrible advice to somebody else. He's got quite the list going. He's the Grim Reaper.
Man, I'm so happy to see so many of you here right now. This is awesome. I'm just so excited to see you guys here because this topic, a lot of people get wrong. I'm going to start with a simple statement. I'll tell you what we're going to do here today, especially for those who are new.
He's going to be getting it wrong because he has no licensure. So let's continue.
I'm going to start with a very simple statement. I know when I talk about wellness, often people separate wellness in this little category. Oh, that means health, or that's nutrition, or that's meditation. And they kind of feel like, oh, I'll get there. One day I'll be healthy. And I'm always telling people, wellness is not separate from your work day. Well,
that's the level of cards he's going to put up for his training. It's just like something he wrote on a piece. Wellness is not separate from your work day. What exactly does that mean? Oh, explain.
Wellness is not separate from your life. Wellness is not something you do once in a while or you have once in a while. Wellness is your experience of life. Wellness is your experience of life in this moment. It was your experience of...
Not in my mind, it isn't. I mean, if I was looking at how well somebody was, either mental health or physical health, I would have very objective parameters to do though. As a clinician, I would use simple hemodynamics, temperature, respiratory rate, blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen levels, and maybe a subjective pain question. A mental health clinician could use a PHQ-9. So this guy, since he has no idea of anything, then he just flashes up a yellow card. He's wild.
Life this morning. It's your experience of life the last week or last 2 weeks. It's not this little thing over there that once in a while you have your kale shake, or you have, your keto diet, or you get to the gym.
Hear that? Keto diet? It's like almost like a subtle plug for a terrible diet. An absolutely terrible diet. And I have no physician who would ever hear that a patient was taking a keto diet approach to their lifestyle and would be happy about that. They would actually ask, who told them to eat that? I've had that conversation with a cardiologist before. It's usually the patient having heard some person on the internet convince them that it was healthy. And it's interesting that you will note lately, Jessie Lee Ward has not used, sorry, I don't mean to put the hands in front of my face, that's not good for my camera, the word digestion when she is explaining Prove It products, because she obviously has a digestive disease. The two, I'm sure Prove It does not want their product connected to her colon cancer.
Or you get to that gym, once, 3-4 times a week. Those are practices. And I'm going to share with you tons of practices today that I know you will love. but it's wellness is our experience of life. And when we can look at it that way, things start to really shift in, once in a while I do wellness versus how am I being, feeling, and experiencing life. That's how I think of like my wellness practices, or when I teach wellness to corporations or teach it to you guys in our high performance work. It's always more of a holistic.
Jessie Lee used the term high performance, and once again I'm going to say Stephen Covey wants his terminology back. This man is no license, no credentialing, doesn't follow regulations, yet is out charging money to corporations to teach wellness. I'm absolutely baffled. I know his wife owned a string of like fitness centers or something, or owned a gym or something of that nature, but this, I mean, I think it's really overstepping his mark. This is, and remember, he doesn't have that banner on his YouTube channel. He just promotes himself this way. It's really not good. Continue.
Approach, because I really believe we want to feel. We want to feel the day. If something is off in your life, it's because you don't feel like you're feeling the day with the emotions and the energy that you want behind it. So today,
really,
I've got all my cards.
Really? I mean, usually if I'm off in the day, it's because I'm having additional stress being added to my day. Most of the time, it might be due to financial reasons. This is just, I hate these people. I'm just going to say, I'm trying to stay professional, but I really dislike these people. He's the worst of them all. I'm going to start calling him the Grim Peeper.
To share with you today some advanced practices that have really served me, but also the mindset of wellness, the experience of wellness. What does that look like? And I know, listen, as soon as you start talking about wellness, people often say, well, is this about losing weight? Or is he going to tell me I'm too fat? Is he going to tell me
he can't tell you any of these things? He can't tell you any of these things. He's not a licensed clinical professional. So he would just be, a friend, I guess, paid friend to do it. He really knows how to it's just the more you watch these folks, the more you realize they overstep their marks constantly, and everybody wants to be a coach.
Or stop
no training.
The Cheetos. I promise this is not a preaching session.
Which I do have.
This is a session hopefully meeting you where you're at. And I've always had to do that in my private coaching with our clients. I have to do that with you guys as our students. I have to do that with myself. There's different times in your life where wellness feels different and looks different. Sometimes it didn't matter if you pound down like 7 tacos and 4 beers in one night.
No, it does.
Okay, well maybe it did. But you could get away with that the next...
No, and you can't. And this is why this gentleman should not even be talking on the topic of wellness. Because I can let you know, if that was habitually... Sorry, I get real heated. I'm going to calm down. But the way he said that, and then he kind of... No. The reason why I would say that type of eating habit is detrimental while you're young is that it actually starts to have cardiovascular health implications early on. So as you are eating this type of diet and your cholesterol isn't very good because you think you're young and it doesn't matter and you feel great and you're not going to the doctors and nothing is being checked, it is actually causing plaques to start to build up in your arteries that can go on to cause cardiovascular events in your 40s. And now also we're finding that we're having to test people for colorectal cancer at the age of 40 now instead of 50 because of things to do with diet. So even though he says, no, it doesn't really matter, no, it does matter, and it does matter at an early age. And this myth that it doesn't is one we need to get rid of in society. And here he is, this unlicensed individual perpetuating it. And this is why I don't like these people. It's not funny, actually. It really isn't funny. He's just laughing it off. And then he has the audacity to go into a corporation and talk about wellness. You have no right to be doing this. I would want to know what someone's licensure is before they went and spoke to my staff. Hire someone from a hospital system that can do that, not this guy. He's a grifter.
2 days because your classes didn't start till 11 a.m. Or, you had times in your life where you could get away with bad energy.
No.
You had times in your life where the energy was more abundant because that age or that health state that you were in at that time.
How do you know? How do you know? He's just anecdotal talking. I don't like this at all. Really, I'm not. No, this is really bad advice all around. Just terrible.
But you and I both know there's sometimes it ain't so good. It's like you're trying everything and you feel like crap and you don't know why.
Oh, he was about it because he would.
You're doing what they say. You got your yoga mat. You're following this wellness person. You're doing your Headspace
That's
or your
the problem.
Calm or your tapping solution app.
Oh,
you're doing all the things, but you still feel like crap. And
all the things. Exactly what are all the things that you're supposedly doing? Because everything that he just mentioned here is majorly problematic to me. They have a map, but they're obviously not practical. This is just, you're out of your lane, sweetheart. You're really seriously out of your lane. And I would be very cautious with how you're giving advice, because you're starting to have a body count around you, Brendon Burchard.
You don't know why? That is the challenge of the wellness journey. I certainly know that. Many of you guys have been with me for a long time. I've been blessed to teach personal development now, essentially for 25 years. Only full-time for the last, 17 years. And, full-time the last 15 years. And in that journey, I've had to be on stage teaching to hundreds or thousands of people who paid a lot of money to be there, and I would feel like crap backstage. I was tired, I was fatigued, I didn't fuel my body right. I was stressed from business. I was stressed from family and the finances and all the obligations that fell on my shoulders. There's been times just like you when you're in that roaring stage of your career where things are going great, but you don't feel great.
Sorry about that. I clicked off and on my screen. I had to stop him here. I know it's long. I want to keep going. I think, again, it's problematic. Just, delegate if you're feeling tired. Find ways to not be so overwhelmed. And now he's going to tell us how he got through this. You see, it's everything this gentleman does is planned. There's no education degree, no medical degree, both of which I have. But I'm not here selling $170 million worth of courses. Maybe I'm just a fool. Obviously, I am.
There's also been times many of you guys were with me in 2011 when I had my brain injury. And that took me on a whole new wellness journey. Because at that point, I was a high-performance guy. I had really gotten my mind, my body, and my spirit, my
Which brain injury?
I'd gotten kind of like in alignment, if you will. I was in the zone for a series of years. I was feeling good. And then on a trip with some friends, I wrecked an ATV, a four-wheeler. And I rolled several times, and I snapped my wrist off, broke my ribs, threw out my hip, my shoulder, and ended up with a traumatic brain injury. And that opened a whole new world of learning for me to understand my brain and to heal my physical body. I know many of you have been through those situations, and many of you right now, you're dealing with sickness in your life or your family.
That's what he's hoping. That's what he's hoping. That's what he's grifting on.
Body, and you just feel awful. Or you recently...
No, I don't. I feel great, actually.
Sick. And listen, recovering from that, that's real. And so we'll talk about some of those recovery.
Darn it. Sorry, I keep flipping back. My Finder keeps coming up on my Macintosh, and so I apologize. I keep flipping in and out. I'm going to try to cut it a bit better. He is not the person to talk to you about any of this stuff. He just isn't. And, the story, let me just let him carry on. This thing is an hour long. I don't think we're going to learn anything from this gentleman.
Recovery routines. We'll talk about some of those new ways to think about your mind, your body, your brain, your spirit. Today's a good discussion. It's a really good discussion. We're going to start with the most simple thing I want you to write in your journal and fill out, which is this. Wellness to me is...
Oh, God, I don't have my journal. I don't have my journal. I'm sorry. I'm just going to have to say it.
You know, whenever I teach a topic, I always...
Seeing your doctor.
always encourage the audience, like, define it for yourself. Because if you don't define it for yourself, anyway, how are you ever going to align with it, achieve it, manifest it? You know, some people say, I want to be successful, Brendon. I'm like, what does that mean? They're like, I don't know. Money? You know? It's like,
of course, to Brendon it is.
What does it mean to be successful or confident? You have to define those things. What does happiness mean to you? We'll talk about that today. But wellness, what does it mean to you? I really want you to think about it.
I thought we were about advanced wellness strategies here, but I guess I'm learning in the world of Brendon Burchard, wellness has nothing to do with health. Oh, I guess that makes sense for some of the decision-making actions of some of the people that he has recently been aligning himself to in that triangle.
What does wellness mean to you? When you have full or holistic wellness, what does that look like? What does that feel like? Maybe what you can do in your journal right now is wellness to me is, and then just write down some words that come up to you. Wellness to me is what? Just write down one word.
Why?
Wellness to me is
please don't.
Health, fitness, resilience.
He has no
peace,
reason.
Purpose,
he's not trained to do any of this.
Aliveness.
He's not trained to do any of this.
Just take a moment right now. I'm going to walk you through my personal definition of this, and then share some ideas that maybe you can put into play in your home,
please
in your work life. So wellness to me is, here are my keywords.
Like his props are expensive.
Number one, wellness to me is happiness. If I don't feel happy,
oh no. Brendon is going to remind you why toxic positivity is what we are all striving for. And Brendon is pretty happy sitting on $170 million of money from shilling this for the last 25 years. If you can get, this is the goal. This is the goal. This is where Dave Hollis wanted to be making this, because this outdoes some Disney money. $170 million. Wrap that around your head, everybody. Please don't get onto that growth day app.
Instant basis.
So what's the difference between a coach who charges, let's say, $100 an hour versus a coach like my client Taru, who recently signed up?
I'm going to get all those.
I know. I'm not on my A game in terms of my wellness practices. To me, they go hand in hand. Wellness and happiness. They're not separate. They're not different. They are the same thing in many ways. If I'm not happy, I know my wellness practices are off. So let's talk about some of these ideas for happiness. Okay, for me, the first thing of my wellness practice and what makes me a happy dude. Like, if you met me, you'd be like, God, that guy is annoyingly happy. A lot. If you've been to my seminars before and you see me go for 4 days, 9 hours a day on.
That's a Tony Robbins trick right there. Just, charge thousands of dollars and just bring people into the cult. Mindset, alignment, the different things that he is speaking of. I want you to take note of this language, because this is the language that we all hear in the MLM Zoom calls and the different Instagram reels and TikToks and all the trainings that they say they're trying to give their downline. It's all from this, okay? So he has been doing this for a long time. It's a lot of this toxic positivity mindset. None of it is coming from a therapeutic place. They bring these people in for days and literally wear them down, and so that they feel that their life still is missing something, so they'll still need to get more of this training and courses. None of these things are going to be actually about maintaining one's health. There's going to be just a lot of nothingness here. I don't even feel the need to have a journal in my hand, because I will learn nothing from this person except, how to scam people. And it's just really sad.
Stage by myself. People are like, how does he have that much energy? It's because I have the ultimate secret.
Make a lot of this. I'd have energy for that too.
To happiness. I'm telling you, you feel.
He'll never say that.
So what is my ultimate secret to happiness? The first thing is having reverence for life.
Oh, no.
And then practices that make me feel that. So many of you know, 25 years ago, this month, 25 years ago, this month, I had the car accident
5 times repeated
that made me, as a young man, finally appreciate life.
Yes.
And really want to live it and explore it and feel it and love it and connect with people.
I don't like when people use their stories to suddenly believe that they now can be a therapist. No training, no education. I'm just going to keep pointing it out.
I was a broken down, super sad, unwell young man who was depressed and suicidal. And then the car accident knocked some sense in my head, and in my head, it made me realize I want to live this life. I don't want to take my life.
I just also want to point out that he has no trigger warnings up here, that he is going to broach the topics of unaliving oneself, of depression. None of these, he doesn't trigger warning. It's another thing that to me is a sign that he has no qualification to be doing what he is doing.
From that day forward, for the last 25 years, I can tell you I have felt happy every single day for 25 years. And my unfair advantage of that isn't because I have this perfect life and nothing bad ever happens, OMG, it's because I make myself feel happy every day by reminding myself of the blessing of this life. So
see, and this is why, again, this is very toxic, because there are people with major depressive disorders that have need for medications and therapy, who may try to figure out, how did this gentleman go from one day, he has this big car accident. I don't know, his story changes. He talks about a breakup with a girlfriend and feeling suicidal, and then this car accident that had taken him close to, the brink of life. And then after that, he was just happy every day. And I don't know. It's not maybe possible for everybody to feel that way. And so to strive for that type of level of supposed, I guess, what he's calling happiness, whatever he's defining happiness is, which is wellness, and which is neither have been really defined. This is really problematic for people who really genuinely do need to seek good therapeutic help, and there's no shame in that, okay? This is where this guy just makes money, all right? Just be cautious, please.
So those practices, what does that look like? Well, it's simple practices of, in the morning, Wayne Dyer taught me, wake up, swing your legs over, put your feet on the ground, say thank you. Thank you.
Is Wayne Dyer I'm just trying to remember, was he like some type of religious self-help guru, or was he just a self-help guru? Whatever it is, already I'm disturbed and heated.
Another day alive. Another opportunity to change, another day to grow. Thank you for this opportunity to serve today. Let me live this day with intention and focus, joy. oh, please allow me.
Honestly, if you want to hear this type of sermon, literally, churches open every Sunday. Don't feel, if you don't have finances to tithe or give to the tray, don't feel the need to. You'll get the same conversation from somebody who at least has studied theology.
To feel the sense of aliveness, and I just start the morning with a sense of joy. And
I would too, with $170 million and no real job to do.
I would say, if you have reverence for life,
and most people do,
feels and looks good.
I promise you, I wake up majority of days very happy. There's very few things that are, unless I have massive financial stresses or something that's out of my control happening, I, on the whole, wake up really happy. And if you aren't, I always say, please go talk to somebody.
When you forget the gratitude of the extraordinary blessing and the incomprehensible unlikeliness of your survival in life right now, the odds of the universe of you being here, this little speck amongst the cosmos, is so profound.
Oh, God.
That when you have deep reverence, which is respect, honor, appreciation, a sense of humility and thankfulness that you are alive,
oh, God,
everything else flows from that. People are like, you're so vibrant. I'm like, have you ever seen my mom? If you ever met my mom, she is so happy to meet you. She is so happy to be alive. She's had perspective. She's been in a war. She grew up in war in Vietnam. She was the child of a soldier who was lost, so she was in a child recovery program. She was shipped to another country where she didn't know anyone and didn't want to live, separated from her family. She had to immigrate to the United States under dire conditions. She met her first husband, who was not
permission
good
from his
and
mother
was
to
abusive.
tell all this story.
She went out and struck out on her own. She eventually met my father, who'd also been through huge difficulties in his life, growing up super poor and having just spent multiple years, 3 tours in Vietnam, and got all shot up over there.
Oh, gosh.
My
I'm
parents
sad.
were happy people. They didn't have a lot, but they were grateful for life because they saw people die. They were grateful for life, and that reverence was something that was...
I just hope he has permission from his parents to tell their stories. You know, I'm always a little uncomfortable with people using stories of hardship to sell courses and motivation. There's a lot of different ways that people handle adversity. I think a lot of people are very aware of Viktor Frankl's book. And so it is unfortunate, and I'm sorry for what his parents went through. I think a lot of us have families who've had hardships. I don't think that's a reason to feel that you are qualified to be giving people advice.
It was just palpable in my household. And I know I was lucky for that. A lot of people didn't luck out on getting great parents. Good examples.
Everything is a sales
that was good,
pitch.
but like I said, later on,
his audience.
I became depressed because sometimes, when you don't have good relationships, which we'll talk about in wellness, it's hard to be happy, even if you should. But I tell people all the time, if the umbrella of reverence for life is not there, if a deep gratitude, appreciation, and thankfulness...
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
Whatever you
I phase out on
God,
him.
for life, for cosmos, for universe, for dang crazy genetic luck that you emerged and have life.
God,
if
this
you don't
conversation.
have that, I promise your wellness journey will never feel vibrant. I promise you can...
I'm sorry. I'm for that argument, I guess you could call it, forever about, the stars aligning and you were born. Obviously, it's a lottery between the sperm and the egg.
You can eat all the energy, foods and supplements.
No supplements. I don't know how many times do I have to always preface out about the supplements. Unless you're provider has told you you have an actual deficiency, please don't just start supplementing for no reason, okay? Are you going to shill some supplements? Please don't.
You know, take care of yourself. I know a lot of people who are super fit and healthy and miserable because they don't appreciate their life.
Oh my God.
They don't keep perspective that this journey is going to end super quick for them and all of us.
Oh.
And so wellness
please
and
don't.
the real journey to wellness
Don't
begins
say
with
these
reverence
things.
for life, deep gratitude, deep thankfulness, deep humility and honor
Oh my God.
for life. That's my ultimate secret. But how are you so happy? I'm like, I ain't dead. If you're alive, oh my gosh, if you can feel that, then you can tune into your breath and feel the sensations around your body. If you can sense and feel throughout the day all of your senses and take in the wonders of the world, even if it's like a concrete city, or you're out on, I happen to be on the beach, or I grew up in the mountains, or I can get outside and see some nature, or I can just remind myself of how big this earth is and how lucky I am to be one of the 7+ billion people. It's impossible to fathom your blessings.
Anyway, how many of those people on this planet that he just mentioned that he got money from for this, you know, oh please, I can't with him. He's only 60 minutes, he's got an hour of this indoctrination. My eyes are just rolling because he's just something else.
And I know when you say that to people in today's world, they're like, oh, sure, you can say that because you're privileged. You can say that because you're lucky.